I decided to make a psychological profile on Richard Castle. Richard Castle is the main character in the TV series Castle. He is a famous, light-hearted, rich novelist who writes about mystery and murder. He is the son of Martha Rogers and an unknown father as of the first 2 seasons. He is the father of Alexis Castle, her mother being Castle's first ex-wife, Meredith, who's a famous actress. His second ex-wife, Gina Cowell, was and still is his publisher. Remember when I said he wrote mystery murder novels? Well, he doesn't start writing them till after his first series, which includes and many others. His second series became more based on murder cases, as he follows an NYPD murder detective named Kate Beckett. The first perspective I'll be analyzing is the psychodynamic perspective. Castle has had a rough childhood with no father figure, and his mother always worked, leaving him with nannies. Here is a small interview from Castle himself, describing those nannies.
Alcoholics, raving lunatics. No, wait, completely irresponsible middle-aged women who, instead of looking after me while you were acting like they were supposed to, instead watch daytime television.
This can explain why Castle sometimes acts childish. For example, he tries to always get what he wants, which shows that he has a strong id. It also showed that Castle has a weak ego because he always caves into his desires. For example, he insisted on following Kate Beckett, the murder detective, around, and even pulled in the mayor of New York to help him, which he succeeded in. Though sometimes he follows his superego. Sometimes. The second perspective I'll be analyzing is the cognitive perspective. Castle can be described as very perceptive and has good thinking and processing skills. This is shown when he solves the murder cases. He also has an outstanding memory, as he can remember specific details that would later on lead to the murderer. However, Castle's attention is moderate. He sometimes talks about random events when he's explaining how the murderer may have committed the crime. Next, I'll be describing Castle's personality using the Big 5 personality traits. Castle has high extroversion. He attends parties almost weekly with famous people from all over the world. He also has many social connections, such as the mayor of New York, a CIA agent, and many others. Castle also shows enthusiasm when he's writing his novels and when there is a murder case. Castle has medium agreeableness because although he is very compassionate about his work, he isn't very cooperative with others. For example, he looked into Kate Beckett's mother's murder case, even though she explicitly told him not to touch her mother's case. He did do this out of love, but still made her pretty mad. He has medium conscientiousness because he's very composed and thinks before he acts, but his work ethic is pretty low. It is hinted in the beginning that Castle never made his book deadlines, which infuriated his publisher. Castle has low neuroticism because he always acts calm and doesn't seem to be under stress. Although he did have writer's block in the beginning, he got over it quickly once he met Beckett, his new inspiration. Castle has high openness because he has high willingness to new experiences. Throughout the series, it can be seen that he gets very excited when there's a new murder case. He is also very curious about these cases because he believes there's always a story. Next, I'll be describing his social psychology. Castle has high self-esteem because he always seems to know who the murderer is, and he actually does. He is also not the type to conform because he does what he wants to, which can account for his attitude towards others. His relationships with his daughter Alexis and his mother are like that of parent and child, only sometimes their roles are switched. Sometimes Castle acts like a mother figure to his own mother, or actually acts like a father figure to his daughter. And other times he acts like a child. For example, sometimes Alexis lectures him, or prevents him from doing things that a parent would say to a child. These actions may mean that Castle doesn't know his social role, but he does act fatherly to Alexis for the most part. Here is my abnormal psychology diagnosis for Castle. Castle shows some signs of narcissistic personality disorder because he's very prideful about himself. So far, he seems to have problems sustaining satisfying relationships, what with his 2 ex-wives. He seems to lack empathy because he didn't understand why Beckett was upset with him for digging up her mother's case. Instead of recognizing that she felt betrayed, he actually thought she would be grateful to him for helping her find out her mother's murderer, even after she couldn't find out who it was after years of researching. However, he doesn't make sure everyone likes him and doesn't use them no matter the cost. He also doesn't brag because he doesn't even have to. He's already smart and actually knows. Lastly, the cognitive test I used was the individual collectivism test. This test involves listing out 20 statements starting with I am, and the responder would write how they would respond to that statement. Here are some of Castle's responses. I've already informed him that his responses will be public, and he has agreed to let me use them. Based on the responses, you can see that Castle is very much an individualist. His responses consist of his own personal connection and also some wit to it. To end it all off, here are some famous lines that Castle says.
There are two kinds of folks who sit around thinking about how to kill people. Psychopaths and mystery writers. I'm the kind that pays better. Who am I? I'm Rick Castle. Castle. I really am ruggedly handsome, aren't I? Every writer needs inspiration, and I've found mine.
Detective Kate Beckett. Nikki Heath. The character he's basing on you.
And thanks to my friendship with the mayor, I get to be on her case. I'd be happy to let you spank me. And together we catch killers. Make a pretty good team, you know, like Starsky and Hutch, Turner and Hooch.
You do remind me a little of Hooch.